you can go back. I mean, I think about, my own career, free agency decisions, injuries, certainly play a part in your sort of story. And you think back to dumb shit. I think back all the time to dumb shit I did when I was young. And I think what I realize, and I think you're at this point too, is like, not many players in the NBA's careers are like this very linear, smooth thing. There's like a lot of ups and downs, and you're dealing with a lot of shit. Meanwhile, you sort of have this responsibility to always be improving, like always be working towards mastering your craft. And as you get older and older, it becomes, I think, more solely just about winning. And so, like, for you to be here now in Boston, what does this opportunity mean to you with everything you've been through in your career?
It's huge. I think it's, of course, it's a big challenge, to be in this kind of market and now with, possibly going far in the playoffs with this kind of team. Big challenge, big responsibility. But it's a risk that I want to take, and I want to, possibly do something big. And yeah, everybody loves a winner, so I want to win. I want to win, and I could possibly make it all look.
That reputation thing we were talking about earlier. If you go help them win a championship,
for sure.
You're goated then. You're goated. Yeah. You'll never have to pay for a thing in Boston again. Anybody who watches the podcast, anybody who follows the podcast, knows how much I dearly love Derrick White as a basketball player. Did you realize he was this good before you played with him?
I did not.
You did
not. No, I did not, man. He's we had like a meeting the other day, and Joe have always these kind of like team development things that we do, and we had to say one thing you love about your teammates, one thing that drives you crazy, and on some couple other things, and I said to D White, I said, what I love about you is how you're always making the right play for us, and because of that, I hold you, and I think all of us hold you to such a high standard that it drives me crazy when you don't. It's like he's so good. He's always making the right play, making the right read. That man, I just always expect that from him, and he's very underrated. Like, I don't know this. I heard there was a lot of talk about this top 100. Like, it's insane how he's not in the top 100. It's completely insane. But I think he will. He's already proving it, and it's only a matter of time.
Derrick doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's really worried about an ESPN top 100
He
poll.
doesn't probably. Yeah, he probably doesn't care.
No, I caught a lot of flack because I went on a rant when he wasn't named top 100. I hate those fucking polls so much. I really, truly hate them. They're so dumb. And by the way, there is like, and I mean this, there's like, in a given year, 5 or 6 guys that are like head and shoulders above everybody. I think you can make an argument now. There's 8 to 10, whatever you want to call it. The guys like 15 to 55, like, they're not necessarily interchangeable, but like depending on fit and situation and teammates and coach, like there's not that big of a margin. And I got flack because I said like Derrick White has a more of a case to be a top 50 player. And people get so caught up in counting stats. I'm like, no, just go watch the Celtics play and watch this motherfucker lock down, chase down blocks, offensive rebounds, swing, like even just like a simple swing pass that's on time, on target. Like he just consistently does that over and over. It's not sexy. People like sexy. That's the thing. And he's just so good. What's his personality like as a teammate? He seems quiet.
No, he's always joking around. He's like, he has a fun personality. He's real cool and chill, and but he's always messing around, and you can definitely hear his voice in the locker room.
Yeah. The guy that I assume you knew was good coming here is Jayson Tatum, and it seems like he really has embraced being the face, the guy, embraced the responsibility, the good and the bad. and all the stuff that comes with that. Just being around him now every day, what are some like things that have really stood out about him as a player, a leader, a teammate?
No, one thing I love about him, how like stoic he always is. You know what I mean? He's always just boom. He's never like too high, too low. Always like his emotions are under control. And he's also like the type of guy that's always like trying to make the right play. And a lot of times it's him attacking, him shooting, of course, for us, you know. But he's always like he has the right character for the game to lead a team to win it all. You know, he has it, you know. And yeah, he's from what I've seen, he's great locker room, great with everybody in the organization, and he has the right character.
Early impressions of Boston and just being here, this team, Coach Mazzulla, the fan base. How's it been?
It's been great, honestly. Fans welcome me with open arms here, day one. Joe has been great. Playing at TD Garden is special, you know. What else can I ask for? Playing with these kind of guys, these caliber players, it's just it's a perfect scenario.
My understanding is your exit from Washington was definitely a trade, but it was a little bit of a free agency as well, where you had a couple deals on the table where you could get traded and then sign an extension. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you took less money to come here. What was it about this opportunity and Boston and this team that made you want to do that?
Yeah, no, just the ability to win a championship, compete for a championship, you know. That's what excited me, that opportunity. And when that was presented on the table, I didn't think too much about it, you know. I knew my game would fit well with JT and JB and the guys that were here. So, yeah, I was just hoping that because of the trade deadline and when it was coming close, like it was like last moment and I didn't know what was going to happen. But when it came true, I was really happy.
Right, because you had to opt in as part of the trade, right?
Correct.
So it came down to the end of June, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. The podcast I did with Joe, we were just discussing it. I know you didn't watch the whole thing. It's okay. But one of the things that he said to me is he said we haven't seen the best of KP because he hasn't been on I'm paraphrasing this. He did say we haven't seen the best of KP, but he says because he hasn't been on a championship level team in a high pressure situation late in the playoffs. You know, that sort of notion of coming here, being on what I would describe as one of the most relevant teams in the NBA, legacy franchise, and some of the other experiences you've had, particularly in Washington. I said this when you got traded. I was like, most people don't know this, but Kristaps Porzingis had his career year last year in Washington, but nobody was really paying attention. How much did that just factor into it? The relevancy versus, I happen to know one of the other options. Not going to say it out loud, but just the relevancy of being on a team that's in the spotlight.
No, it definitely, I got a taste of it when I was in New York, and that was one of the biggest stages you could play on, and I enjoyed that so much. But honestly, it was more about just being in a team where I can actually win. Like winning was more important than, being in the biggest market, but if you can combine those two, that's even better,
I think that the thing I'm curious about though is like the pressure of being on not even just a team in the spotlight, but being on a team that has been to the finals recently, has been to a number of conference finals recently, traded away one of the sort of culture makers to get you. As you had months leading up to the season, I know you spent some time here in the preseason, but did you sort of wrap your head around that pressure that was going to come with this season?
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted. I wanted the challenge. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to maybe okay, my last year in Dallas, the year before I got traded, right? I didn't have the best playoff series. We got kicked out of the first round. And now I'm like, okay, I have to prove to everybody that I can play on a playoff team or a championship caliber team and perform and and remind everybody, okay, that can happen, but here I am, and just the idea of that challenge was like, okay, this is what I want.
Have you noticed anything about the guys on the team, the organization, Joe, just in terms of like the different mindset with this team versus some of the other teams you've been on? Like even just night to night in a regular season game, how is it different? How does that sort of manifest itself?
Oh, you definitely feel like the culture and even the history, like here, it's very strong, right? And these guys have already built something, that is very close to winning it all, and coming into this kind of environment is just a different energy. Like we all know what the goal is here, and it just adds more motivation, it already adds more to my passion, to my drive, just being around this kind of environment, these kind of people that want to achieve the ultimate goal. And for me, that's all I can ask for.
So I believe it was ESPN. It may have been The Athletic, and I apologize to whoever wrote the article, but there was an article within the last 7 to 10 days talking about this meeting that Jayson Tatum organized amongst the 6 starters. And it was a really good article, but it never really went into how you guys decided on Al, like as being the odd man out.
It's obviously somebody had to sit out, right? And I think Al is the type of leader, the type of guy that we all said it, like in that meeting, that, hey, look, we don't care. Like, of course, JT and JB is not going to come off the bench, right? But the rest of us, we said, like, whatever. Like, we're whatever.
You said that as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But realistically, like, Al is really, like, this guy will give everything to the team. Like, he like, the most selfless, like, guy you can find, and great leader for us. And at the end, it's just kind of, JB said something, and then I don't know how he got to the end point, but we all knew, like, Jrue said it also, and I guess Al was he was cool with it, and we all have to sacrifice a little bit, right? And I think Al just didn't care.
He just took it.
Yeah,
Al's great. There were 3 things that got me really excited about the fit of you being on this team. One of the things was the potential to actually play 2-man game, because I've talked with Joe a little bit about this, and I've said this publicly. I felt at times there was a lot of redundancy with the skill set between JB and JT, and there wasn't someone for them to go play 2-man game with. And the early returns, specifically on that second side, left side, with you and JB and 2-man, has been really good. How has that chemistry sort of evolved? Apparently you guys are now best friends on and off the court. You've replaced somebody, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, it has been very natural. Like, just my game mixing with JB and me starting to understand where JB is most comfortable in, and we're just playing off of each other. He's a willing passer. He's a good passer, and me, like, mixing the rolls and pops, and he likes to play that 2-man game. And same with JT. Just, I think, just JB going downhill, curling, all those, very dangerous, and then I get a lot off of that, and he makes life easier for me. So I think it's just very natural.
I asked Joe about one of the games I had. I think it might have been the Brooklyn game a couple of weeks ago, just about in the half-court sets, you picking and popping sometimes, picking and rolling other times, even before you got here. Mm-hmm. Has that always just been a feel thing for you? Or is it a specific play that you're like, I know I'm going to roll, or I know I'm going to pop? Or are you just feeling that out based on how they're playing the coverage?
Yeah, I try to, I talked to the coach, like my coach, DJ, and ask him what he thinks, how they're going to defend me, right? So I try to visualize, okay, this guy's going to be maybe going to switch, whatever. I go through, like, the certain scenarios that can happen. But then it's also like a read in game, and if I see them make an adjustment, then I have to make an adjustment offensively. I have to set the screen a little bit different angle, low side and roll, and it's all kinds of things go into that. So, but usually I try to prepare pregame and see how they played other type of players that are similar to me, maybe.
Yeah. The second thing that I was excited about, and I know this has been a point of emphasis for Joe going into the year, was posting up more. He wanted the roster to be able to post up more, specifically you and Jayson and Jaylen. And again, like this is anybody can find this data anywhere. KP, this season you're top 3 in the league in points per direct post. You were second in the league last year, and you were top 15 in 22. Not a lot of people know that you were second in the league last year in points per direct post up. That part of your game, because I played with you, and it was something that I felt like at times we sort of went away from. Yeah. Do you feel like you've gotten better since Dallas? You've figured out more? The one thing I've noticed a lot is, I think early in your career when you had smaller guys on you, you would turn and just try to shoot over the top. And now you're doing the Joel Embiid, Brook Lopez rip through, right, trying to bait the smaller guy to reach down on it. How just has your post offense evolved?
It has definitely evolved. Like, to be honest, like I wasn't that efficient in Dallas, and it's just the reality. I wasn't getting as many looks, so I never really developed like a decent rhythm. And you start to, the sweep through isn't as good looking, and you don't get the foul, and then you miss, and it looks terrible. It's just like, and I was like, come on, man, I'm not like, this can't be happening. So realistically, I wasn't as efficient in Dallas, and then and in Washington, I was getting more touches and got a good feel for it again, and good rhythm. And then just kept on improving, like looked at my game realistically, like where I wasn't efficient, what kind of shots I wasn't efficient at, and analyzed all those kind of things. And yeah, you could see it in the numbers last couple of years when I've really paid attention to it. It has went up.
Yeah. And the third thing, rim protection. Top 5 this year in effective field goal percentage at the rim. Top 10 last year and top 10 the year before.
And thank you, JJ. That's nice of you.
I feel like now, especially after last year and how you played so far this year, now we can say like Kristaps Porzingis is a good defender. That was a huge knock though at times in your career. And I feel like at times even you got picked on, you got targeted. Mm-hmm. And now you're in a situation where you can play drop, you can play switch. The preparation for that, the work on that, like how did you improve over the last few seasons defensively?
Just I have to like take responsibility. Like when I was in Dallas, coming back, like my first year in Dallas, I don't know what the numbers say, but from field wise, I was pretty good. Second year when I got hurt, coming back from injury, man, I was so stationary. Like honestly, like realistically, the criticism that I was getting, it was, for a good reason. I wasn't as good defensively. And then again, my last year with Dallas a little bit, I think it was better, but here in Washington, I again really paid attention to it and try to improve. And I try to bring it now here in Boston. And as you can see, yeah, the numbers are good.